give me your quick.
Nicole, we
If
just
you could
lost
give
you.
me, if you could give me your attention really quick, if you are the incoming president, vice president, or secretary treasurer, you're in the wrong room. We already had someone in the leadership team say that their VP is in this room. So if you are incoming president, VP, or secretary, you need to go to the leadership team training with Victor, which I will post in the chat. So I know there's at least one person that might be in the wrong place. So just double check that you're not. And that's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Nicole. All right. So again, this is the support team and membership committee training. One note that I need to make to you is there are a lot of slides. It's why I gave you the slide deck. That's why you're going to be able to access that slide deck. John's going to post the link in the chat and you can grab it from there. The reason being is I'm going to go through things, and this is an overview session. You're not expected to remember everything. There's no possible way you're going to remember all of this. But what's important is that you understand from a 30,000-foot view the member journey and what your role is in bringing your new members on board and helping them be as productive referral partners as possible, and then how to keep that momentum going throughout their BNI tenure. So I'm going to be sharing a lot about that with you and today. And then any of the nitty gritty nuts and bolts, all of those kinds of things are in your leadership team manual that was sent out to you when you registered. And if you say, no, it wasn't, that's okay. You can find it on BNI Business Builder. So the 2021 Leadership and Support Team Manual, it's the chapter, oh, I don't even know what it's called. It's called like the chapter leadership manual or something along those lines. So that is available. And if you can't find it, then you can email Nicole and she will send it to you. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your time, and I want to thank you in advance for your service. No chapter runs smoothly without a team. And so you are here in service to yourself, to your own business, and you are also in service to your team, which is really important. Remember that when you are a successful business person, you are only as good as your team, because no one can do every deal alone. And this is the most leveraged way that you can build your business. Think about the fact if you're in a chapter with 20, 25 people and every person just meets the visitor requirement each month, that means you bring one new person, but you get to meet 24. How many of you, by show of hands, would be excited to meet 24 new quality business people that would welcome your phone call every single month, right? That is absolutely the benefit of BNI, when everyone is doing what they need to do and learning what they need to do to be able to do it. So let's keep moving right along here. Please do not let this be your president. Please do not. If your president starts doing everything, please approach them and say, hey, you have a team. You don't need to do this alone. And pick up some of the turnips that bounce off the truck. Oftentimes presidents will find it easier to just do it themselves than to delegate it out. So sometimes your president might need some support in remembering that he or she has a team and that you're here to support and serve them and the whole chapter. So be in service to your president and make sure that your president is not doing all the heavy lifting on their own. Because as a team together, everyone achieves more. Okay, so that's really what we're going to talk about today, is what are all the roles, and then how did they work together as a team to benefit the chapter. My goal here today, guys, just so you know, is to have a break at the top of each hour. So we're going to go until 9, take a quick 10-minute break, come right back, break again for 10 minutes at 10, so that you know when the breaks are going to be. And if I'm in mid topic, we're going to break anyway. Right? I'm not going to try to rush through or finish a topic or extend. We're going to stay on time to the best of our ability so that you have a comfortable Zoom meeting, and we'll work together as a team. Again, also talking about team, that means commenting in the chat. That means, putting your thoughts in there, participating, getting into those breakout rooms, and not just abandoning ship, not just leaving the training when we open up a breakout room. We really want you to be in those breakout rooms. So let's review really quickly just a few of BNI's guiding principles. The vision of the organization is to become the world's most powerful platform for global business development. We're not just about networking, and this ain't your grandpa's BNI. It is a new day, it is a new world, and we are now going global. We have opportunities to connect with people across the globe through Zoom and through our business builder platforms and our global convention, which is coming up at the first week of October. And so we've got some of the best business minds coming together. I've had the privilege to meet a number of our speakers, and I believe that the $29 you invest in a global convention ticket will be well worth your money, and the training that you will get during the global convention will be well worth your time. And you will begin to see that BNI's mission has greatly expanded over the years. Okay. Our mission here in BNI Mid-America is to help our members increase their business through a structured, positive, and professional referral program that enables them to develop long-term, meaningful relationships with quality, proactive, strategic business partners. So what you want to do each time you take a look at this mission is ask yourself, are the relationships that you are personally developing meaningful? Are they long-term? And are the people that you are doing business with proactive strategic business partners? And are you a proactive strategic business partner? Because everything starts with us. It's very difficult for us to hold one another accountable to our commitments and our word when we're not doing the same thing. So you want to make sure that you yourself are embodying all of these values and all of these missions. You all know that we have 7 core values, the top of that being Giver's Gain. Giver's Gain means this: you're looking for the triple win. Is it good for the chapter? Is it good for my partner? Is it good for me? Is it good for the chapter? Is it good for the partner? Is it good for me? And if you can get a win for your partners and your chapter, and you might have to take a little hit, that's what Giver's Gain is all about. It's about not always getting 100% of what we want, but seeing that when we do these things, the team flourishes, knowing that when we help enough other people achieve, we too will achieve. We're building relationships, and that takes communication skills, patience, forgiveness, grace, mercy, and a whole lot, right? So we want to make sure that we're always building those positive relationships and that we are engaged in lifelong learning. One of the things that I found really interesting, I've been doing BNI for 22 years now, 22 years, and I'm still learning. I'm still discovering new ways of building relationship. I'm still discovering new ways of creating referral partners. Ivan is still putting out tons of content. Some of the best thinkers in the world are putting their minds on the challenges that are inherent in business today and that are inherent in being successful. And things shift, the market shifts, trends shift, psychology shifts. We know so much more about human psychology and the human mind and success principles today than we did 22 years ago. And I'm sure in the years to come, we will learn even more. So value your learning, do those CEUs, dig in, get that hour every single week. And then of course, implement it in your chapter, implement it in your one-to-ones, learn and implement, and you'll see your business is going to grow, and then support others doing the same. Traditions, we got lots of traditions in BNI. The meeting agenda is one. Don't mess with the meeting agenda. Don't mess with the traditions, but you absolutely can put frosting sprinkles and Kit Kat bars on the top of it. So the innovations really don't change the structure. They might, but they change maybe how we do things, how we get things in there and get things happening and rolling. BNI is innovating every single day. Fortunately, they have over 10,000 chapters, so they get to test stuff before they roll it out on us. And so a lot of the things that you'll see when it comes to innovation is really just your ability to adapt and embrace the changes. So if you can do that, you'll be really ahead of the game in terms of building your business by relationship. Keeping a positive attitude in the face of adversity and in the face of struggles and in the face of challenges is absolutely necessary. Remember, there's a solution to everything, and if we can be focused on the solutions, we can keep our attitudes positive. Accountability is the #1 way to build trust. Accountability, we'll talk about it later on. It's the ability to keep your commitments first and foremost to yourself. And we are inherently sloppy at that. So sometimes we need somebody to help us. And that's why we're a team, because the team can remind us who we truly are and the commitments that we made and invite us to be the highest and best version of ourselves. And then recognition, of course, always look for a way to tell someone they're great, always catch someone doing something good, and be positive about how we communicate with one another. When we embody these 7 core values as leadership and support team, we are able to influence a culture that is unstoppable. And culture eats strategy for breakfast every single day. So as the support team and as someone that is backing up your president and being the safety net for your leadership team, keep in mind these 7 core values and ask yourself every single time you have an interaction, how am I embodying these things, and can I do this better? We do have a code of ethics in BNI. We agree to provide the quality of services that the way we've quoted it. We promise to be truthful and build goodwill and trust. We take responsibility for follow-up and display a positive, supportive attitude, and always live up to the ethical standards of our profession. This is in our induction ceremony, which should be happening with every new member. So keep in mind that we've all signed the code of ethics and we've all agreed to these things, and you want to hold your members accountable for these things as well. So guys, I would love for you really quick, pop in the chat for me. Why did you decide to be a support team member? So open up your chat and pop that in there. I'm going to go turn my air conditioning on. Stacy, do we have something going in the chat? I'm not seeing the chat blow up on my end, but why did you guys decide to be support team members? What's in it for you? What's a benefit that you can see in being in the support team?
Sure, we've got accountability. I owe it to my team. I was asked is the number one reason, because I was asked to many of those. When VP noticed the importance of a support team, because we're all in it together. Another one was asked. I wanted our chapter to be successful, a chance to learn and grow in leadership skills. That's a great one. Want to help my chapter be the best possible, to be more involved. I was asked and I enjoyed the role this past year.
You know, it's interesting, Stacy, the fact that I was asked, I was invited. How many times do we just make assumptions? Oh, you know, so-and-so isn't doing one-to-ones. Well, maybe somebody needs to ask them. Maybe they're just not that, you know, they're not going to step up, but when you ask that they will rise to the occasion. Right. So I think that that's really great. And VCP is a really big one. So visibility, credibility, and profitability. Guys, by the way, Dr. Meisner put out a podcast about VCP. He said, I don't know how this happened, but it ain't an equation. It's not V plus C equals P. It's a spectrum of relationship. The early stages of a relationship are visibility. People know you and they see you. And as a support team member, you get time in the meeting to lead, to talk about your committee, to talk about what you're doing, how you're serving the chapter. And that builds credibility, because each week that you do your education moment or your mentor committee report or your leader or your membership committee report, you are standing up and saying and affirming, I am taking a leadership role. I am contributing to this chapter. And that builds know, like, and trust, which is credibility. And when you've got credibility, inside the chapter, people will trust you with their referrals and their introductions. So first they need to see you, then they need to trust you, then they will refer to you. And so you want to be on that spectrum, developing that spectrum. And by being on the support teams and the membership committee, you have done just that. You've made a commitment to increasing your VCP. Every referral that was ever given was born of influence, you guys. Every referral that was ever born came from influence. And as a support team member, you are going to be increasing your influence with people. You're going to be learning new skills, learning new tactics, learning new resources that are out there, and you're going to be contributing those things to the chapter, and that will make you more influential, which means your referrals should go up. And finally, leadership skills. The world, I think you can agree, is sorely lacking in leadership. So let's rise to the challenge and become the best leaders that we can be by using our influence and our VCP to help other people succeed. And that really is what is in it for each and every one of us, to take a leadership role. There's a new day, it's a new dawn, there's a new era in BNI. We have a new org chart. So as you can see, you'll see that some of these roles are unfamiliar. Some familiar roles are not on here, and we'll address that in a little bit. And you can see that the organization is a little bit different from what it used to be. And so this is the organizational chart that has been tested over the last 2 years in other regions and around the world. And it is the one that is simplifying the leadership and the ability to run the chapter. Now, keep in mind that it looks like there's only one blank. Well, there's one coordinator, but then that coordinator can ask people who don't have a role to be on their team and help them out. So you're going to be one of these things. And if you need help, you go to someone whose name isn't on the org chart and say, I'd like you on my team, and invite, because as you guys said, many of you stepped up to serve because someone asked you. So you're going to extend that courtesy throughout your chapter. Let's take a look at all of the roles that are now in the BNI organizational chart. The president's role, your president's role, is to facilitate the weekly meeting, to follow the BNI agenda, hold a monthly team leaders agenda meeting. Please, you guys, I'm going to beg you, we have to hold each other accountable. It's a mutual thing. If your president is not holding a monthly meeting to talk about growth and to quarterback the chapter, you got to ask them to hold it. You got to say, we need a team leaders meeting. If we're going to grow and be profitable, if we're going to increase our productivity and help our members be wealthier, we've got to meet and we've got to plan and we've got to troubleshoot challenges. Your president sets the vision, provides direction, and communicates regularly with your BNI director team. Your vice president's job is to chair the membership committee. Your vice president should be holding a membership committee huddle after each weekly meeting. So after your weekly meeting, if you're on Zoom still, your membership committee should go off into a breakout room and they should discuss things like who was absent, who's going to reach out, do we have any applications, what's pending, have we followed up? It's a quick 15-minute scrum meeting that saves a lot of hassle. We no longer do the big monthly membership committee meeting. It's these little short scrum meetings of your membership committee to just make sure everything is getting done. So it's inspecting what has been expected. Your vice president will ensure that applications are being reviewed, track chapter stats, and help members achieve their goal. Let's talk about the membership committee because this is new for 2021. The first specialist, and you might need 2 or 4, your quality assurance specialist. These are the folks that ensure that all the new members are highly qualified business professionals that meet BNI standards and are a solid strategic fit for the team. These are the folks that are doing the interviews, doing the background checks, doing the reference checks, and making sure that we're getting great members on the team. And they are the ones that will be recommending to the vice president how many or whether or not someone should be admitted into the chapter. And your chapter needs an even number of quality assurance specialists. If your chapter is 20 or less, you need 2. If your chapter is 30, you need 4. And if your chapter is above 30 and goes to 50 and is growing, you'll need more. So the more you grow, the more you need, because if you're inducting 4, 5, 6 people a month, then you're going to need a lot of quality assurance specialists to handle all the influx. Okay. So it really is how many you need depends largely on chapter size, but also on chapter activity. So you might be a chapter of 20, but you are powering through and you're on the grow and you have a big goal to be at 50 by December. Well, then you're going to need more of these folks doing these interviews and these reference checks. Your member engagement specialist ensures that all of your team members are engaged and accountable. They support member success through proactive coaching and handle all renewal conversations and renewal applications. Your community building specialist is formerly known as the growth coordinator. So your community builder sees to the health and wealth of the chapter by leading chapter growth initiatives and assists with retention by communicating with members regarding the attendance policy. So really when people are not there, we can't help them. And when they're not there, the team isn't all pulling in the same direction. So we want to make sure we're addressing that. The member relations specialist is the HR complaint department. They handle constructive facilitation between members as needed and identify challenges that might cause concern. Your secretary treasurer is responsible for tracking, announcing, and collecting chapter dues, handling chapter banking report, and reporting financial activity to the chapter. I've noticed in a lot of chapters, the secretary treasurer is not reporting financials every month. This is how much we took in. This is how much went out. This is how much we have. These are our outstanding invoices. This is what's coming up for us to pay. Your secretary treasurer should be letting you all know about that. If that's not happening, then you might want to talk to your chapter director or to your leadership team directly and let them know that something's missing. Your visitor host team. Your visitor hosts make a positive first impression on visitors and substitutes by greeting them, introducing them to members, and giving them a brief overview of what to expect in a meeting. This is pretty common in person. Your visitor host team, you want them there 15 minutes before open networking starts with everything all set up. If you're an online chapter, your visitor host is the one that should be greeting people when they come onto Zoom and moving them into the breakout room. So that's a visitor host function, okay? Your visitor host also records the visitors, guests, and subs in BNI Connect and follows up with visitor post meeting. This is not one person's job, but you do have a coordinator that is the quarterback, and then there are multiple people that do that in each category. Your education coordinator should be preparing a 2 to 3 minute presentation on a networking education topic, guys. Sometimes I've gone into chapters and the education coordinator is educating about their business or educating about an upcoming law that is going to affect business owners or something along those lines. That's not what the education topic is for. It really is to say, hey, here's our topic this week. These are some podcasts. Here's a brief overview. This is what you guys should do for your CEU this week. So making those suggestions and helping people get their CEUs in and directing the team to be studying all the same stuff so that everybody's moving kind of in the same direction is a really good way for the education coordinator to move things forward. And then your mentor coordinator. Your mentor coordinator makes sure that every new member completes their passport in 90 days and gets through their MSP within the first 60 days of being a member. So those are that's the 90,000 foot view of what everyone does. And so let's take a really quick minute to start putting it all together. Let me check in with Stacy. Stacy, do we have any comments or questions in the chat that we need to address?
Nope, the last chat was just more people responding to why they decided to serve. And we've had some really, really good ones. I will save the chat and share it with you. So
why don't you go ahead and share those real quick? Share a few of the highlight ones before we get going.
Sure. I want to help as much as possible, but I couldn't commit to a more in-depth role, doing my best to pull my weight. I have one of the hardest working leadership teams out there. Our chapter goes above and beyond for every member. So I just wanted to do my part once a need was identified. I learned the best through teaching, working with new members to help them enjoy their BNI experience.
Great.
Weekly visibility.
Huge.
So lots of things out there.
Awesome. Thanks, Stacy. John, are we working on those breakout rooms?
I think I just got them all set up. So whenever
John,
you're ready, we can open them up.
You are my breakout god. We're not quite there yet, but I didn't want to get there and be like, John, we need those breakout rooms. And you're on like breakout room 1, right? All right. So let's put some stuff together here, guys. Here's our agenda for today. We're going to talk about how to build the team. We're going to talk about how to train the team, and we're going to talk about how to leverage the team. So we're going to build, train, and leverage. And that is the role that the support team facilitates. You guys catalyze growth, training, and leverage. We've got a lot of roles where this is kind of the order in which we're going to do things, because if you think about it, the community builder team is the one that's going to set up all the events and drive all the visitors to the chapter. The visitor host team then is going to take care of all of those visitors, follow up with those visitors, work with those visitors. The quality assurance team is going to handle any applications that come out of that visitor host team. Once we onboard a new member, they're going to be passed along to the mentor team, and the mentor team is going to help them through their first 90 days. Once the mentor team is done, they're going to hand that new member over to the member engagement team. And the member engagement team is going to nurture that member throughout the remainder of the year. The member relations team will step in as needed whenever there are conflicts or challenges. And the education coordinator, along with the president, reporting with the president, and the vice president and secretary treasurer are going to use the education topics to chart the overall course, to be the game coach, okay, to make sure that the team has all of the information they need in order to invite more people so the visitor host can do their job. So that, right, you get it. It's an endless circle, and it should consistently be building on itself into an upward spiral of positive productivity. Let's talk about growth. If you were going to be in a chapter, which vehicle would you want your business to be sitting in, right? Do you want something that you barely fit in, or do you want something that is bigger than so much bigger than yourself that it can move mountains? I was in Thailand 2.5, 3 years ago at the global convention, and they were doing some awards, and all of a sudden they announced a chapter, and the chapter that they announced was from Mumbai. And there was some Bollywood music and everybody was dancing and they were all in their beautiful attire, and they get up there and the stage is packed. The stage is so packed, it's starting to bow. There are so many people. And one of the directors that I had with me said, "Oh my God, that chapter is huge." And their director consultant was sitting behind us and he said, "That is A through M. That is A through M. When they exit the stage, N through Z will take the stage." And I said, 2 stage fulls of people? How many people are in your chapter? And he said, "We have 143 members, and our goal this year is to break 200. And we nearly lost our minds. And we said, "How the heck do you run a 90-minute meeting with 143 members?" And you know what his answer was? I'm going to ask, type in the chat what you think his answer was. Somebody type in the chat.
Hey, quickly, you don't? Longer meetings?
Yeah, the answer was, "We do not. We do not." I said, "What does BNI look like with 143 members?" And he said, "We do BNI all day, 1 day a week. We hold our meeting, then we have breakfast and we do one-to-ones, then we hold our meeting, then we have lunch, then we wait for it, then we interview and induct our new members and have our one-to-ones and find all of our referrals for the week, and then we get to business for the rest of the week." And I was flabbergasted. I said, "How do you get people to give an entire day to BNI?" And this is what he said: "You give your 5 to 8 hours one way or another. We just do it all on one day as a team to be as productive as possible." I'm looking for a chapter that wants to be 140 members. I'm looking for a visionary chapter that wants to learn how to do that. Unless you think it's not possible in the United States, it is. Shirleytown in South Carolina has a chapter that has 130 members. And they grew during the pandemic. So we can do it too. There is the only thing that's keeping us from having chapters that look like that machine on the right is the 6 inches between our ears. Growing your referral team means you will never have to prospect again the way you've had to prospect. Think about it. Let's just do a titanium chapter. 100 members, each member brings 1 visitor a month. You met 99 new people, but you brought 1. That's leverage, you guys. That's leverage. Of those 99 people, even at 3%, right? 3% of the people that they bring will want to do business with you, because that's the cold calling average. That's 36 new clients for you in a year, and all you had to do was bring 12 visitors. Does that sound like a chapter or like an experience you might like to have? And then people say, "Well, that's a lot of work." Yeah, well, the only place that success comes before work is in Webster's dictionary, as my daddy used to say. But the payout is huge. The larger your chapter, the more opportunity you have. When you double the size of your chapter, you'll triple your revenue. Every time you double, you triple your revenue. It's a huge, huge leveraged way of being. More connections means more money. You can see when you have 16 people versus 32 people. When you double the size of your chapter, you quadruple the connections. More connectivity when you work those connections gives you a lot more leverage and a lot more business. The key there is work the connections. So just from a member training standpoint, you guys, I'd like to suggest to you, by show of digital hands, if you can go down to your reaction button, I'm really curious about this. How many of you, after visitors come to your meeting, connect with those visitors on Instagram, Facebook, on social media? You connect with them on LinkedIn, you connect with them on Facebook. Who's doing that? Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, that's the leveraged way. Now, put up a celebratory, like woohoo, one of those little cones. If you would love to have 50 members in your chapter, so every month you had 49 new connections on social media that you could then leverage and have one-to-ones with. Give me a celebration. Oh, Michelle Liebenritt is up there. Anne's got her celebration. Stacy's got her celebration. Harry's in there. All right. All right. Hands and celebrations down. Guys, part of the challenge that we have is that we don't do anything with the raw materials that are brought our way. And a lot of times when you're connecting with people on social media, when you are following up with them, when you are having a face-to-face coffee with those visitors, when you're hosting just a visitor luncheon, right? You just invite those visitors to meet you at Panera for lunch and have a connection circle with them. Just have a little meet and greet with them. You'll get more business and they'll convert to members because some people need more. You need to be more interested in them for them to give you the time of day. Those are our slow paced, moderate paced, on the disc, high C, high S people. They want you to show them that you care before they're going to give you their loyalty. They're slow to trust, but once you get them, they're loyal forever. So put effort into these connections and see growth as an opportunity for you to grow your personal business as well as grow your chapter. Okay. So here we go. With 15 members, it's easier to refer when you have more people, right? If you have a 15-member chapter, you've got to go out proactively and find 3 to 4 referrals per person in order to get to 1 referral a week. But when you have 50 members, you need to just trip over 1 referral per person to make that happen. It's just easier when you have more options to find referrals for, because you'll have more people in your world that need something, right? More people in your world that need something. Let's talk about what your growth goal in your chapter should be. What is your growth mindset? If your chapter is currently onboarding 1 or less members per month, then you are probably headed for a downturn. Because the attrition numbers hover between 1.5 and 2. So if you feel like you've got an open barn door, right? It's largely because we're not bringing in enough people. And we're going to talk about how to fix that. So this is just the reality check. All right. If you are onboarding between 1 and 2 a month, you're probably flat. So you're losing people and then replacing them, losing people, replacing them, losing people, replacing them, but you're not really getting ahead. So if you want to get ahead, you've got to be thinking 2 a month, 2 a month, 2 a month or more. 2 or more a month is the number that gets your chapter growing. And here's the really interesting thing. When a chapter is growing, retention is a non-concern, because people only leave because their life circumstance shifts. They don't leave for disappointment or frustration or conflict or anything else. A chapter that has momentum has retention. And when a chapter that has momentum, when people leave, they're easily, like, they just get replaced because you're on kind of a flywheel, right? Of growth and connection. So how does a chapter grow? This is the responsibility of the community builder team. Can you put your hand up for me, your digital hand up, if you are the community builder / growth and events team? We used to call you the growth and events team. Susan? Who else do we have that's on the growth teams? Harry? Michelle? Good. All right. So we definitely, this is for you, but listen up. Hi, Patty. So if you are not a community builder, you still want to help your community builders be successful. So it's important for you to know what's going on. Ah, my favorite wine consultant, Stephanie Shazine. How are you, my darling? Okay. So growth coordinators, you can put your hands down. That's awesome. Let's talk about this. Your chapter is organized in 8 contact spheres that form 4 verticals. Just a little bit of history. This concept was actually born in St. Louis in the Referral Builders chapter, Go Referral Builders, by a woman named Jeanette Schrepfer Wade. She was a marketing consultant and no one could understand what she did. And I was the president and I said, Jeanette, I understand how frustrated you are, okay? But we don't get it. Like, I'm a Mary Kay lady. I don't even know what marketing is. I don't even know what you're talking about. So can you do what you do for a business, for our chapter, and help us grow? And she created the contact sphere concept and then taught it to us, and we grew to above 30. We were at 18 and we grew to above 30 the year that she was the growth and marketing coordinator and brought this. It got taken to the BNI Platinum Club, and then the world adopted it. So you guys have a lot to be proud of because this started in your backyard. Not all chapters have all 8 spheres. And you know what? That's okay, because I don't know that there are 65 florists that are going to join BNI this year. And I don't know that there are 65 DJs in St. Louis that are going to join BNI this year, right? But what you can do is take a look at who you have and who you need. What spheres are built out? Some of you may know, some of you probably don't know that on a dare, I built a chapter. I was dared in March to build a chapter because I'd never built one before. I'd never been a founding member, and I was challenged to become a founding member. So I got together with a couple of friends and we built Platinum Referral Partners. And we went from an idea, which was 3 of us, to 25 members in 100 days. And we did it online. And the way we did it was by building the real estate and contractor sphere and the business support sphere. And we have our B2C people in the real estate, contractors, and personal care. It's more like, so we've got this big B2B and this big B2C teams. And we're starting to fill out our personal services sphere. Okay. That's where we are right now, is sort of building out that sphere. But it's pretty cool because we're really focused on those verticals, and that's really helping us grow. So this is a fictitious chapter. This might be something that you're looking at. So when you're looking at growth and this is what you have, you want to take a look and say, like, how balanced are we in the verticals and how balanced are we in each block? All right. So can somebody just type in the chat something that you notice? Where might we have growth opportunity in order to prevent attrition? Where might you want to, as a growth coordinator, or where might you want your growth coordinator to focus in order to avoid attrition?
So our responses so far are personal care and family services, events and weddings, financial and insurance, business support, more personal care, event planning.
Right. So where you want to look is, what am I going to do with the chiropractor and the supplements guy? Well, I can kind of combine them with the financial insurance, right? Because that's all kind of personal services, but I'm going to want to get some more personal care people in there. And I'm going to want to get some more financial and insurance people in there. If you're looking at real estates and trades, that vertical is nice. It's really built out. They've got 10 referral partners. Even your business support and marketing and branding are at 8. I might want to get a couple more business support people in there, maybe a business coach, maybe a CPA or something. Oh, we have an accountant. Yeah, maybe a HR professional. but I really want to build out the personal care, financial, and insurance to make sure that they can work together, and they need another 5 or so people in order to make something happen. So I'm going to want to focus as growth coordinator, focus the chapter's reticular activation center on be on the lookout for, do proactive recruiting for these spheres so that people are conscious of that and they're looking. So let's do this really quick. We have just a few minutes before we're going to go to break. We're going to open the breakout rooms, and I want you to pop into a breakout room with your chapter. And really quickly, I'd like you guys to decide, based on who's in your chapter, where you guys think you need help. Keep in mind, if you have a block that has no people, don't start there. Start in the blocks where there are people in the blocks, but not enough to keep them eating. All right. So we're going to take about 6 minutes in the chat, in the breakout rooms. We're going to come back at the top of the hour, regroup, and then we'll take a break at the top of the hour. So John, go ahead and open those breakout rooms. Everybody, please do not leave. Please go into the breakout rooms and support your chapter. If you end up in a breakout room alone, move yourself to a different chapter. Okay. And if you don't know how to do that, you can come back to the main room and we'll put you in a chapter for you. So we're going to take a breakout for about 10 minutes, come back, regroup, and take a break at the top of the hour. We're not taking a break now. John, go ahead and open the breakout rooms, and everybody will see you back in about 10 minutes.
All the rooms are open. You should just be able to go down and click on the breakout rooms in the bottom of your screen and find your room, find your group.
I'm not seeing that type of icon, breakout room icon.
Go in. Do you see a little three?
They're not
like,
there.
do you
They're
see
not
like
there.
3 hamburger dots that say more?
No, they're not there.
Nope.
They're not there.
There was a recent Zoom update. If you did not get your Zoom
Where-
update, you may not see it.
We're going to skip the breakout room then, because that's going to be a sugar show. See, what can you do? All right, John, undo the breakout rooms to get everybody back here.
Okay.
John, sorry about that. So, all right. So we're just going to stay here. Well, then go ahead and raise your hand if you'd like to just chat a little bit. And if you're a growth coordinator and you want to share from your chapter really quick, where do you think your chapter needs a little bit of growth and a little bit of focused action? So I see Stephanie and Michelle have their hand up from earlier. I don't know if you guys want to unmute and just share really quick, but I'm happy to have you do that if you'd like. Or you can type it in the chat. Where do you think we'll do the chat. Nobody wants to raise their hand. So type in the chat for me. Where do you think your chapter needs some focused attention on growth?
Don Burrow says contractors and trades.
Micah Mayfield, unmute and share with us.
Hey, good morning. We've been needing some health and wellness support for a while. We've got somebody that does in-home care, and we need some medical professionals or personal wellness people right around that.
All right. So that's BNI Prime, you guys. If you have, check this out. So this is one way that we can band together as a network to make things better for everybody, right? If you have a very strong personal services network, you've got a chiropractor, you've got a massage therapist, you've got supplements, you've got skincare, you have all that in your chapter. You also have that in your personal network. So go to Prime and say, hi, Prime, I want to meet you to see if you're referable. And then I'd like to refer to you all of my skincare people, right? I'll go refer those people. You can be a referral partner to another chapter by bringing the people that you have in your network that can't fit in your chapter to another chapter. Michael, what would you feel about a member that came in and said, hey, we already have Rodan and Fields gal in my chapter, and my friend who sells Arbonne is really looking for a chapter. I thought I would bring them here. What do you feel about that person now?
I think they actually care about helping others grow their business. So at their core, I think they're extremely referable.
All right. We recently had out in Platinum Referral Partners, we got 2 members from STL Preferred Partners, and they may be, I don't know if they're online, but we have a little plan for them to go say thank you to them for bringing us that. And it really is that Diane Collins and I are going to go and find out who they need, and we're going to go find them 2 members in return. So when we start doing that, imagine what starts to happen to the whole network when we start to help each other out of our network, because we often stop with, well, I already have one of those in my chapter, so I'm not going to bother looking in my network to see if I know anybody that could help another chapter. Do you want to visit that chapter first? Absolutely. I know that Micah and his team run a really darn good meeting, and they do it the BNI way, and they're very consummate professionals, and they are word keepers. Absolute word keepers. And, when you find people like that, you know that you can go and you can refer to them, right? So check it out. If the chapter seems referable, refer to them, right? And you'll be a greater influence to them. All right. So breakout rooms didn't work, but growth coordinators and, this community builder specialists, you want to grab this tool and you want to make sure that you're sitting down with your team and you're deciding what is our chapter going to look like? What's the makeup of our chapter a year from now? All right. So we're going to take the last 10 minutes really quick here to talk about how to do this. And again, you can take a screenshot, or John, if you would go ahead and post the link to the PDF of the slides for people that came late. Guys, I did create a PDF of all of these slides that you can keep so that you have it as a reference for working through things this year. All right. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to set a goal for growth. How big do you want to be when you're done? And you know what, you guys, set a growth goal that's a little bit of a stretch, but not something that you can't wrap your brain around or that your members will just give up before they start. So if you're a chapter of 12 and you're like, we're going to be titanium, probably not. Probably not. Right? But if you say, hey, we're at 12 and we want to be to 20, probably. So set yourself a solid goal and decide what you're going to do and stick with it. Come hell or high water, stick with it. Community builders, you should be visiting other chapters and saying, my chapter is looking for a roofer. You guys have a roofer, right? So Harry's a roofer. We need a roofer. Who do you guys know that's a roofer that you would recommend other than Harry, that somebody in your network that we could add to our chapter? In the meantime, we'll refer to Harry because, we can, but we really are looking for that. Community builders are pollinators. They're surfing the network. They're surfing the events in St. Louis. They're doing the work and finding the people to make this happen. And they're creating a plan. Create a chapter marketing plan. How will you make your chapter visible and credible in the wider world? Are you going to do a social media campaign? Are you going to write press releases? What are you going to do? Conduct monthly marketing strategy meetings. Who in your chapter might you include in a marketing strategy meeting? Collect and maintain chapter marketing materials. There are new materials out on Business Builder and in the bnibranding.com that you guys can have that you can use. Monitor your visitor conversion. You want to be converting 1 in 6, if not 1 in 4, somewhere between 1 in 4 and 6. Ensure that the visitor orientation is happening and is effective. That means you are saying, visitors, we're going to meet over at that table, or visitors, join me in breakout room 2. Some way that you're getting the visitors away from the meeting and able to have quiet conversation with them about their impressions, what it is that they're looking for in a network, what's important to them in their business, and how you can support and serve their business growth. Work with your education coordinator as necessary to equip the team for inviting, and partner with your director. I cannot stress this enough, you guys. There have been chapters that have basically said, we got it, go away. And they've gone away. They're not chapters anymore because there's so much to know and you paid for the support. So call your director and say, get over here. We need you. Don't assume we're too busy. Don't assume we're not interested. We're not jumping in and forcing this stuff on you, but we are here anytime you request it. This is like video streaming, right? Television is push. You're watching TV, they're pushing commercials on you. They're pushing the programming, right? Live streaming is like, hey, I want to watch Netflix. So I pull it in. Directors are like Netflix and Hulu. You have to invite us into your chapter for us to do our work. So ask us which channel you want us to be on and invite us in to help you. So type really quickly in the chat, how many members do you think you would like to have in your chapter? This is an actual chapter of a real BNI chapter. It was the BNI chapter in Joplin before the big tornado about 7 years ago. They had 77 members. This was their meeting, right? How many members would you like to see in your chapter this year? Stacy, do we have some info in the chat?
Yeah, they are pouring, they're flooding in 30, 40, 50, 20 to 30, 35, 25. A lot of people are saying 50.
We want to help you get there. Here's what I know that I know, and I'm not being disrespectful, you guys, because remember, I just built a chapter and I'm a member now too. Like I hadn't been a member for years. I left BNI as a member in 2005. And I hadn't been a member, let's see, no, 2012. I left in 2012. So I'd been 10 years not a member. I'm back in the saddle as a member and I get it. I get it. And believe it or not, Victor is our director. And I'm like, Victor, I'm the vice president. I'm in my vice president role. I need you in your director role. Help me with this. Help me with this. Help me with this. And we're growing because every night over dinner, I'm like, help me with this. And he's helping me grow this chapter. And I'm capable of doing it myself. But when you're in it, it's hard to see when you're in the thick of it. I can do the same thing for a chapter to see from the 30,000 foot view and see what's going on and help. Recently, I helped Premier Results turn their chapter around. I believe they're at 19 members now. Power, we went from 3 to 17 during the pandemic. They had 3 members on April 1st. By September, they were at 17. So this can happen when you partner with a director. So see us as the biggest resource that you guys invest in and partner with us and we'll help you do it. Medallions, you guys came, you're like 50. How many platinum medallion chapters can we find? Victor has ribbons for you if you're a medallion chapter, right? So you'll get your ribbons and your pins and it'll be amazing. Here are 10 quick strategies for catalyzing chapter growth. I'm going to go through them very quickly and we're going to stop at the top of the hour for a 10-minute break. How about bring your best client month? Everybody in the chapter brings their best client in the month of October. Or 2 or 3, maybe it's bring your best clients. Who are your top clients? Maybe they'll join, maybe they won't, but here's the thing. Just because someone doesn't join doesn't mean you can't connect with them on LinkedIn and say this, hey, you know the chapter, did you have fun? You did? Awesome. We're looking for a crackerjack accountant. Who do you recommend? Make who do you recommend a regular part of how you interact with visitors and watch what happens to your chapter and watch what happens to your business. Who do you recommend? How about having a visitor contest? Here's a great one. Right now, we're in the middle of Platinum Referral Partners is in the middle of 100 visitors in 100 days challenge. 100 visitors in 100 days challenge. And it's going gangbusters. We're having 5, 6, 7 visitors a week and we're making bank. Yesterday, I had somebody that wants to sign up for my coaching program from a visitor. She reached out to me and said, I want to sign up for your program. Everybody, somebody else said, I just closed $14,000 with a visitor that so-and-so brought 2 weeks ago. There's money there and there's opportunity there. And our visitors are recommending members to us. So have some visitor contests, come up with that. Bring a substitute day. This is really, this one, you guys, if you have an attendance issue in your chapter, this is one of the best ways that you can fix your attendance problems. Have every single member on one day bring 2 substitutes, 2 people that could substitute for them, and have them join in the meeting. And this is why. Substitutes often don't show up because it doesn't matter. They don't have any skin in the game. They have no credibility at stake. But once they've visited your chapter, they know people and they know, and they're going to feel more comfortable. So if I know that if I don't show up, Mike Benz that I had a one-to-one with is going to know that I was supposed to show up and I didn't, I'm more likely to show up as a substitute. And it also gets your members thinking about who could be a good sub. Stack days. A stack day is a day when you invite for a specific profession. So we usually do these for firm professionals, but you can do them for any and all professions. You want a CPA? Every member brings their CPA, brings a CPA, a former CPA, their mother's CPA, they bring a CPA. Every member. If every member in your chapter brings a CPA, guess what happens on CPA day? Somebody joins. Contact sphere events. You can ask a contact sphere each month to hold events. So in January, the event sphere is gonna sponsor one meeting. The property services sphere is gonna sponsor a meeting, right? So you get these small groups and they sponsor the meeting. Maybe they bring special food. They create a 15-minute keynote in a group that shows how they pass referrals and where they get referrals from. And they talk about the referrals that they're getting so the visitors in the room can see that. Again, ask your director how to do these things and they will coach your chapter. Play the BNI games. BNI games like March Madness. We just did the Master Connectors contest. How many people played the Master Connectors contest and got at least one ruby on their badge? Anybody? I got 6. Diane Collins got 8. John, how many did you get? Oh, Julia Crunk got rubies. I love it. Julia, how many rubies did you get? 1? Awesome. Not just one, because you know what? We had 7% of the network play. So you're in the top 7% of the network when you get 1 ruby. That was bring 5 members. So whenever BNI Global puts out a game, we play, you play too. How about a chapter anniversary party? If you don't know when your anniversary is, you can ask Nicole and you can plan a Think Big event. Yeah, you know, that's when you invite 25 or 40 people. And we used to have to like print out the letters and then fold them and then stick them in an envelope, lick up the envelope, put a stamp on it. It's like Bunquequi making a milkshake. Nope, you can have a Coke, right? But now we have the app, you guys, and you can invite people directly from your app. And it's all registration. It's super simple to invite 25 to 40 people. Hey, my chapter's having their anniversary party. We'd love for you to come. You can invite former members, former visitors. You can really stack the deck and have a huge event. It's an opportunity. Charge $25 or $30 at the door. People pay for chamber lunches all the time. Why would anybody be any different? We got to change our mindset about that. Ask your director how to plan it. You need about 6 to 8 weeks before your chapter anniversary to plan it. Definitely do that this year if your goal is to be at 50. Oops, this should not say chapter anniversary party. It should say do ribbon cuttings. And we're going to talk about the ribbon cuttings later in the program. They're for your new members. Make sure you are doing preseason for January and February's formerly March Madness, which is our chapter growth extravaganza. Okay. And we're going to stop right there. And we're going to take a 10-minute break. Please come back at 8 minutes after so that you're ready to start the meeting again at 10 minutes after 9 o'clock. So be back at 10 minutes after 9, and we're going to talk about how to prospect for your business and your chapter.
And for those of you that are still here, are going to be still sitting around here, I think I